Welcome to The One Thing, where each episode features our signature segment, Pandora's Box. We dive into hot topics that challenge the norm and ignite real conversation.
Inspired by Greek mythology, Pandora's Box isn't just about chaos. It's about truth, transformation and hope. That's what we bring to every conversation.
Have a cause or business that deserves to be seen? Want to be remembered forevermore? Be our next special guest. Contact us today at theonething@edgeradioaustralia.com.
And you're listening to The One Thing on Edge Radio Australia. Thank you for joining us. I am back, but unfortunately our other co-host, the other trifecta is missing today.
We seem to have a tag in, tag out kind of situation.
You're always here. You're our constant.
Absolutely. I've got nowhere else to be. Let's be honest.
So get well soon, Leanne. We always miss you when you're not here. It's not the same, but we are really excited to have our special guest here today. And it's not her first time. It's not her second time. Leonie Du Toit is actually here for the third time. And I don't think we've actually had a guest here 3 times before.
I feel like I should give you a gift.
Well, she's actually
She's brought the prezzies. There we go.
Leonie's actually has brought us a gift, and it's her new book.
It's very cool.
And I don't know whether she's actually cottoned on yet, but even though it's got all these little Post-it notes in it, and that was our first episode. Do you remember, Leanne? Our very first episode when we went to air, we used to have a guessing game, and Leanne had Post-it notes, so that's bringing back some nostalgia as well. But I'm becoming really attached to this book because it's just got some awesome stuff in it. I think even you could read this book.
Even I. Look at that. It's got very short syllables. Yeah.
Well, you're not a book reader, are you?
I'm not. And you know what I like? There's spaces, so if I want to write some little notes, I can, or maybe some pictures or some, things like that.
Yeah.
If I could draw a little bit as I go, it'd be great.
Yeah. Do you reckon that we might be able to talk her into giving us a raffle prize or something?
Oh, we'll give it a push. Why not?
We'll see how we go. But let me properly introduce you anyway. So it's fantastic to have you back. So for anyone that doesn't know Leonie, she's a transformational life coach, spiritual teacher, healer, podcast host, so she's got her own podcast, and author of this new book that she was actually talking about in previous episodes. And it is called Spiritual AI. But it's not AI as we know it. It's the authentic intelligence. She helps people to awaken and strengthen their awareness and intuition, which are the 2 most powerful skills long cultivated by great leaders and coaches, which are now accessible to everyone, which I absolutely love, because so many of us just don't tap into our intuition. So welcome, Leonie. It's so lovely to have you here. And you're probably going to want your book.
Do you want that back? Yeah.
That one, yes. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Lisa. And Aaron, thank you for having me over again.
Absolute pleasure.
It's a real pleasure to be here. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. But before we go on, I wanted to share that story with you. That's because we were talking about when was the first time I was here.
Yep.
Yes.
And the first time I was here was on the 7th of July, 2024.
Okay.
So on the 7th
Right.
of the 7th. And I remember you guys did the themed episodes, right? You wanted a theme around what the episode was going to be.
Was that our guessing game?
The guessing game that we did, right?
Okay.
Yes.
So I did not have, I was like, well, what can it be? What can it be? So the name Spiritual AI, so AI came up because awareness and intuition. And we were going to put a little robot on the table and you guys had a little,
Yes.
and so the name Spiritual AI was actually born with that episode.
We'd like a percentage, okay? Just a small, little bit off the top, okay?
You've all heard it all over the world.
Yeah, I realized that when I was getting ready, and I was like, how interesting that name was kind of born out of getting the theme for that. And it kind of just stuck because it's such a catchy name, right? Spiritual AI.
It really is.
Having awareness and intuition be the thing, right? AI,
I
awareness
like
and
that.
intuition. And then
So timely.
very timely. And it's also kind of it's kind of evolved, obviously, over the last year into the message that is in this book, right? About the authentic intelligence. It's not about artificial intelligence. And there's this big need for us to return to the self because everything is so out there.
That's right.
Yeah, it really is. So let's go back to the Leonie from the beginning. How long have you felt like you've had this intuitive, I'm going to use the word power, but I understand that everybody has it, but how long has it been? Your first memory of being in touch with it?
Ooh, first memory of being in touch with something woo-woo.
I'm so glad you say that, because I used to say that people like, and you know, I felt like I was almost offending people, but there was the woohoo world. Let's face it.
Sure, yeah.
And I didn't much like the woohoo world. And now I live.
It's not woohoo. It's
Well,
woo-woo.
Woo, I'm sorry. There's a lot of woos involved here. I don't know. All I knew was like, you know, show me the evidence. That's how I used to be, right? And now that I've seen a lot more evidence, I've changed, right? And I think it's interesting. We had a conversation a year or ago, and we're talking about that, and that's where the name has come from. Conversations are so powerful. They bring ideas, they inspire, and they change minds, right?
Absolutely does, yeah, for sure. So for me, like, I can remember as a child having like these ghostly experiences, right? So my parents would ask me to go fetch something from the bedroom, but you had to switch the lights off on the way back up.
Sure.
And then, you know, that dark behind me, I would hear footsteps behind me. And I would sense things behind me. And I know that there were times where I would be in bed and I would have to pull the sheets up over my face because I could sense things in the room. So I think from a young age on, I knew that there was something else out there.
Mm-hmm.
But my journey with awareness really started when I was in my early 20s, when I was struggling with depression.
Okay.
And I tell the story in the book, so I won't go into too much detail here, but it was, I tried to take my own life. And
It's
it
very
is out
full
of, and out of that was the whole starting point for where awareness, my heightened sense of awareness came from. So yeah, it's in the book. Get the book.
Get the book.
Get the book.
There's the teaser right there.
That is a teaser.
It really is. But honestly, the fact that you've said, you know, what you went through, look, it's just, look, tip the hat to you, because it's a hard thing to talk about, right? And so many people hide that, and so many people have been right to the very, very edge. So I'm glad you're here.
It's easier to talk about on the other side, though, wouldn't it be? I mean, when you're in the midst of it.
Interesting, yeah.
Well, yeah, when you're in the midst of it, you're in the dark. You're like literally in the dark.
You
right?
are.
So it's the dark night of the soul. And it is easier for me to talk about it now because I've done the work. I've kind of healed. I've come through. I've been through the process, right? So I'm very grateful that I'm still here today. So there's obviously a reason for me for being here today and having gone through that. But those things, the dark night of the soul, those moments that we have, those make us who we are.
Of course they do. Agreed.
And it's often the people with the biggest voices and the biggest messages that need to be out there that actually go through the darkest things.
Yeah, well, I know that you can relate to that, Aaron.
100%.
Yeah. Oh,
goosebumps.
Hey, Jen, I'm going to give you a bit of a compliment here. That we haven't talked about this.
Oh, there's compliments already.
I know. It won't last long. But one thing that you do that's quite strong, which is very, very positive in this space, is you actually tell it like it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people will just tell you what you want to hear, right?
Yeah, no.
You remember what she said to you last time?
Oh, yeah, I couldn't stand you for 5 minutes, you know.
I know.
Yeah, but that's, you've got to do that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and you've got to have the reaction too. You've got to be shocked into stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think anyway. If you want change, you need to be shocked into
People
things.
need to hear the things that's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right?
It's supposed to be uncomfortable.
Well, as long as
is.
it comes from good intention and a place of love.
It does.
I think that's what matters.
I mean, I'm not going to have a conversation. I'm not going to be rude about it, right? But I'm going to tell you as it is. Like, I think we've been wrapped up in cotton wool for too long. Like,
so true.
It's just happening all over the place. And it's time for people to, with love, get shown, you know, that
take a spoonful of concrete. Okay, people need to toughen up. There's just
We
no,
do like we're
yeah.
fluffing around things, and it's time for us to be honest and open and truthful about it, right?
Yep.
And one of the things that I find that helps with that is when people return back to the authentic self, back to awareness and intuition. If you look at some of the big leaders, right, and you look at what they've accomplished in their life, you would think, they've got big businesses and they've got, a lot of money and they've got a lot of followers and they've got all this stuff and they do all these things. But if you boil it down to where they started and what actually gets them to where they are right now, it is awareness and intuition. Without awareness, you will not become aware of where you need to be going, who you need to be speaking to. And without the guidance of your intuition or that gut feeling most people talk about, you wouldn't know which business deal to take, which partner to choose. So I've realized from working with clients and watching the content and the leaders out there, I've realized that they all have a great sense of awareness and they're all guided by their intuition, but nobody talks about it.
No.
Nobody talks about it. And it's not because it's a secret. It is, I think it's because it's been developed over decades.
Over time, yeah.
Okay.
Slowly but surely your awareness gets developed, right? Slowly but surely you become connected to your intuition. So it's almost like a hush skill that they've developed that nobody's gone and said, hang on, that's actually the thing that's been driving you. That's actually the thing that's been leading you.
Well, it is very much a slow burn, right? Like in my eyes, awareness and self-awareness.
Yeah.
And most of us are running through life with very little self-awareness. Some of us are shocking for it.
Yeah.
And as I evolve as a person, I can see the difference in myself. I can see what I'm doing. And, it doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. Yeah, you've got to.
It does.
Yeah, you've got to plug away. And you've got to be aware of the changes in yourself. You've got to flip that switch, I guess.
You can't become aware of the things that you need to change, or you don't know what you need to change if you can't be aware of it.
So that would be called a blind spot, wouldn't it?
Well, absolutely. So your whole life is a blind spot if you don't have awareness, right? You're running on autopilot. So there was something I was going to say. It'll come back.
Leanne says that she's looking forward to getting a copy of your book. She loved doing your course, and this is sure going to be the cherry on top. I bet you're jealous, Leanne, that you're not here looking at it.
I miss you, my friend. Yeah.
Well, you spoke so highly of the course. Leanne did beforehand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a hell of an endorsement. Yeah.
Yes, very
thank
much
you. Appreciate
so.
that, Leanne. Yeah. So with so I want to come back to the leadership, right? So we, myself included, and other leaders out there, and people in in your own case as well, you build awareness up. And I've realized that even though it's taken me 2 or 3 decades to actually build up the sense of awareness and intuition, this connection, it doesn't have to take that long. You don't have to, like, if you look at somebody like Tony Robbins or some of the other big names out there, Lewis Howes and people like that, they've obviously taken years to develop this skill. And throughout my work with my clients, I realized that it doesn't have to take that long. And this book essentially takes people into that space where you can develop it right now.
So it's a shortcut.
Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that it is a bypass for the work.
Okay.
So this book, if you can read this book in a couple of days, if you sit down and read it.
You might be able to.
Well, if you let's say if you've got a weekend and you'll actually, it's written in a very simple way. So it's written in a way for even a teenager to understand. So if you take this book and you read it, by the end of it, you'll immediately have more awareness, and you'll be connected to your intuition, right? That means that you have essentially 5 years, 10 years.
Okay.
you've done in a matter of days.
I love that.
In the book.
Do you know what's interesting with anything that you read or you watch or you take in any way? I find that sometimes the penny drops days afterwards and you have that aha moment. So it's all getting processed.
You'll continue to process, right? So obviously
So obviously because I've written the book and I've done the editing for the book and I've also done the audiobook
Yeah,
version
you were
for
saying
this.
you've done everything.
I've done everything myself.
Wow.
So
which is very unique.
and my journey has set me up for it, right? So I'm really
Yes.
grateful for this.
Yeah.
But I've read this book
Yeah.
at least 10 times now
Okay.
because of all the edits, because of all the reading the chapters.
Not just your ego, just, oh, it's so good. I can't put this thing
No,
down.
but,
It's unbelievable.
But yes, it is good. So, but I've read it now 10 times, and every single time that I've read it,
Mhm.
I've picked up and I've been reminded about something for myself.
Mhm.
So hence the sticky notes in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've started reading it again,
Okay.
not from a space of ego or being, like this. There's information in here that while I'm writing this book, I'm channeling information as well.
I was just going to ask you about the
Gotcha.
channeling.
Yeah.
So for those of you, so for those people watching that don't actually relate to that terminology,
Mhm.
what does that mean, Leonie?
It's so channeling in this case would be tapping into your creativity, and it's coming from inside you. So if you're painting something,
Mhm.
there's something inside of you that's inspiring you to do the drawing a specific way. So
Okay.
it's your soul expression that comes out onto the painting. This is my soul expression that's come into this book.
Sure.
Mhm.
This is my this is my mission.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So over the last
I like that terminology, by the way. I think we
Yeah.
need a mission.
Yeah.
All of us need to have a mission, and whatever it's going to be very different for every single person, but it's
Mm.
important
It
to
is.
have one.
Everything in my life, every experience that I had, and I talk about a lot of it in the book, has kind of molded me into the person that I am today. And because I have this message. Now, awareness and intuition are the two senses that can literally change the world. This is not me saying this lightly, right? If you bring awareness and intuition into the schools,
Oh, wouldn't that just change so much?
it will change everything. If you bring awareness and intuition into governments,
Well,
It
you'd
will
need to find
change.
an IQ first, but that's a whole different thing.
well, let's not
yeah.
go down that one. But anyways, but yeah, so awareness and intuition, because awareness will show you what's happening around you.
Mhm.
Okay, awareness will open up the world for you. Intuition is going to guide you because intuition is the voice of your soul, right? It's going to take you to the place that you need to go. So if we go on exactly the same course, we do exactly the same program, we are going to get different messages from the course or the program, right? We're going to get different results because you're going to take it and you're going to form it in a way that has your imprint on it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the information and I'm going to form it in the way that imprints on me.
Of course.
The same with your readers. If they take this book or they take their life or they want to open up a business or create something, they need to be in connection with their soul expression to be able to do it the way it should be done, their way.
Their way. Lisa L has come in with a great question here. Where can I find out more about your courses?
I've got a intuition and awareness masterclass on my website.
Okay. Which is
Hey,
your website?
My website's www.leoniedutoit.com.
There you go.
And if you don't know how to spell it, go grab the book.
There you go.
It's on there. We'll have the link for you as well. But
Yeah.
I don't have any programs that I'm running at the moment. I'll probably look at taking the program that Leanne did, and creating a loose standing program of that. So taking the content and creating a course that people can buy. But there is a masterclass online at the moment that you can purchase.
Okay, cool.
Okay, fantastic.
There's been a few questions and comments, so I just want to bring up
Let's
a
go through
couple
it.
here.
Let's see.
So we've got from Martine. Lovely to see Martine up there as well. Now, self-accusation.
I don't think it's actually on the screen though.
No, it's not, because I need to be able to read it first, and then I'm going to click the button.
Oh,
you see.
okay.
I need
All
this
right.
whole eyesight thing. Watch me.
Okay.
Watch me go.
Because I have the technology.
Well, if
to
you
do
want
it
to use
here,
the
I think.
technology, there you go. You
I
go
think
for
I
it.
have. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That wasn't even me. That must
No,
have
that was
been
me.
our.
That was me.
Oh, that was
me.
you.
Yeah. You can now
Okay.
read it. There we go.
Oh, okay. So we've got a team thing happening here. Okay. Martine says self-actualization happens a while after self-awareness.
There you go. What are your thoughts with that?
I think it's part of the journey.
Part of the journey?
Yeah, it's self-actualization is becoming aware of yourself, right? It's the stepping into the authentic self. It's the stepping into your journey. Yeah.
Okay.
But once again, I guess it's that thing of
does.
different people have different experiences and
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, let's face it, we articulate differently as well. We
Absolutely.
use different terminology for similar experiences.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So Lisa L says, hi, Lisa. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa?
Get well
Lisa.
soon, Leanne.
Absolutely.
Hi, Leonie. Leanne says, hi, Leonie.
Hi, Leanne.
So good to see you. Evening all from Shana. Good evening, Shana.
Hi,
You don't, Leanne
Shana.
says, you don't need the evidence, Aaron. You just need to know it's there. That must have been based on a previous comment.
Yep, I'd say so. Well, I know so.
Leanne says, yes, 100% Leonie. I'm not sure what she was agreeing with at the time, but.
Oh, she's agreeing with me. Yeah. That's what
So Lisa asks, how does Leonie see the events in the world or even just in Western Australia unfolding? And she's asked, how do you think we should show up?
Interesting.
That's a very broad question. So let's see. Okay, so for what's happening in the world, all right, so let's bring it to, I can't remember what that story was, but there's a story out there, and the moral of the story is, if you want to change yourself, you start with yourself. If you want to change the world, you start with yourself.
Start with yourself. Yep.
So I'd say start with awareness and intuition. Start with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you start with yourself, it then ripples out to your children, it ripples out to your friends, it ripples out to your community, and it will ripple out to the world. So when I say that I've got a mission and this message needs to be heard, it is essential for this book to get out there. And it's not about me.
Mhm.
It is about the message in the book.
I understand.
The more people we can get to connect to a heightened sense of awareness, to have a heightened sense of awareness, and the more people we can get to connect to their intuition, their inner voice, the more people will start noticing what is wrong in the world, and they'll start making changes at home.
I
and
agree
then
with
in
that.
the community. So even though there is so much happening in the world, and no, we'll never be able to stop it all, because that's just part of cycles, right? There's always going to be the build up, there's going to be the downfall, and there's going to be the restart, the build up. If you look at history, that's kind of what's always, there's a pattern, right? But the more we can connect into our authentic self, those cycles will start changing, and we'll have less wars and less of the things that are not so
Look,
nice.
I think that self-awareness is actually, the long-term picture of this is people knowing what's going on. More people are contributing to stopping this from going on, right? I really, and then before, when people would just follow along blindly, that's, what the world is telling us. That's what the media is telling us, what movies are telling us. Then people weren't active. Whereas now, when people are actually far more self-aware, they're more likely to actually be more involved in being active in the change.
It is. And the more awareness you have, the more you look at yourself and you start healing your own stuff.
Yep.
So you're far less likely to end up in a war with somebody else.
Yeah.
Because you've done the healing, you understand, you're not triggered, you're not activated. Yeah.
I've recently been in touch with a matchmaking agency and had some really in-depth discussions with the woman that owns it, and she's been doing this for 30 years, so she really knows her stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
And some of the conversations I've been having with her, she's been talking about how people tend to attract the same partner because they haven't healed their own wounds.
Yeah.
And I think that is just so interesting, because people will often go out and they'll have one relationship after another, but it's never them.
No, that's the thing is that if you in a relationship like that, if you kind of in a space where you go, God, he's one of those guys again, or she's one of those, ladies again, I would invite you and sit down and go, look at the pattern, right? So if we just want to go in and just hit hard and just go, who's the common denominator?
Yeah, but people don't do that about themselves.
And then also going a little bit deeper and going, well, why is this pattern showing up? Where does this pattern come from? Most of our stuff comes from childhood. up to the age of like 8, 9, 10.
That used to annoy me.
What about in utero? Sorry,
Mm.
Aaron. What about in utero? Do you think it
Oh,
can happen
absolutely.
then? Yeah, I think we
And
underestimate that, don't
past
we?
lives as well, and whether you believe it or not. And, you know, the stuff that your grandmother, I can't remember the exact science behind this, so don't quote me on this, but the eggs that we carry were already inside of us when we were
Exactly.
like a couple
So,
of generations back.
Yeah, so it's kinesiology. So I've got a really close bond to my granddaughter, or my granddaughters have got a really close bond to me. I said to my
Because
daughter,
she brings chocolate.
my daughter already thinks I'm a weirdo, but you know, I said, well, you know that she was kind of like part of me at one stage.
Yeah, there is this.
yeah.
There's this weird, like,
Because when my daughter was inside me, she already had her ex.
she already had you. That's
Her
exactly what I'm
ex.
trying
So
to say. Yes.
Yeah.
So then the trauma that you've experienced, the trauma
Yeah.
that your mother has experienced,
Yeah.
is also then part of
So it's really not my fault.
energy, right?
Handballing that responsibility. Check that
We
out.
have to look at that, right? But it just shows you that trauma can actually go back generations, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just the physical, it's also then the energetic and the spiritual. When you
Yeah.
look back, you know, if, you know, generations and generations back, that trauma gets passed down via stories and fights and history that keeps getting told over and over and over. And we keep bringing that energy forward over and over and over.
Do you know what's really fascinating about this? And this has only just occurred to me. And I know we're kind of right off on another tangent here. But let's assume I'm responsible for for any of my children's imperfections. So let's assume I'm responsible for that because I caused that, say when I was in my 20s or 30s when they were in utero. And I'm generalizing. I'm not really talking about me. I'm just talking about the situation. So say in this particular case, the person went out and did their healing on themselves so that they were not perfect, but, you know, they'd kind of got past that.
You've worked on it, yeah. Yeah,
you've worked on it, but because you'd actually caused, and I'm going to use the word damage because I'm just struggling with words here, that the children might still be damaged because they haven't done the work. So you might have caused it in the first place. I'm not making any sense.
No, none at all. So what we'll do is we'll answer this after a quick little break.
Is pain holding you back? Bowen Therapy with Panacea Healing can change that for you. It's never too late to recharge your health, career, or purpose. You have the power within yourself to change what no longer serves you, taking your life and health to another level. panaceahealing.com.au. You can do anything.
Edge Radio Australia, you're back with the one thing, and I so wish I could share what was just said. In fact, I'm sure I can, but it's not appropriate for this conversation. Did you want to reply to what Lisa just said?
Not
that bit. Not that bit. No.
So I understand what you're saying. So I'll use myself as an example, right? So the way that I'm raising my two daughters is not the way that my parents raised me, obviously, because I have got a different sense of awareness around certain things, right?
Okay.
So not saying mum and dad was wrong. Mum and dad did the best with what they could in the moment with what they had, right? So with me growing and developing my awareness, I've had the ability to then start noticing when I say something, I immediately realize the impact it's going to have on my daughters. So what I've started doing, because I am living in this heightened state of awareness, when I say something and I realize in that moment that it's going to cause my daughter long-term issues, or it's going to potentially be perceived in the wrong way. It might not even be, I'm not even talking trauma. It's just saying something in a way.
Now.
Well, that's another story.
Sorry,
more concrete on that teaspoon.
But I might say something and I realize that, hang on, I'm saying this because I mean it this way, but I know that she's going to take it up another way.
Okay.
That could inevitably or could cause trauma, in her life. Now, if I realize that I'm saying this thing in that moment and I realize I'm going to stop myself and I'm going to say, hang on, let me explain this in a different way. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to spare my kids, spare in inverted commas, trying to spare my kids trauma in the future.
Okay.
Now, I wasn't able to do that with Phoebe for the first, say, 10 years of her life because I was still growing. So I know now that she's probably going to have to work on a few things, right? Even with Chloe, she's turning 16 in January. So I know that there's going to be a few things that she will have to work through because I'm still going through my own stuff, right? I've got my own, I've got my own limiting beliefs. I've got my own blocks, but I am way more aware of them so that I'm trying to not pass them on to my kids.
Look, I agree with it. I'm not the same bloke that I was in my 20s. I'm just not the same person, And so therefore, in a lot of ways, people shouldn't be, in my opinion anyway, people shouldn't be negative about things that have happened in your past. I've got nothing I'm sort of aiming at particularly, but, we evolve, we change. And as far as our parenting goes, we grow and go, hang on. Maybe I should have framed that differently or if I had my time again. But I remember, when I was growing up, I'd look at my parents as if, they're adults. They know what they're doing. I think, they've got it together. Whereas, of course, now I look back and go, they were just making it up on the run, right? Okay, just as I am, just as everybody seems to be. So, maybe we're a little bit harsh on our parents a bit because, they're doing their best. Yeah.
For sure.
I was invited, I don't know whether you've both heard of a seminar called Landmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was invited. You've been part of it?
No, I'm familiar with it.
I'm familiar with it. Okay, so I was invited by a friend. So I went and did their very first session, for want of a better word. And that's a whole subject in itself. But in any case, what they did fairly early on was they asked a particular age group, and I think it might have been the 20-year-olds, to go and stand up on stage. And it was all relevant to what they were talking about. And then they asked us to all take a good hard look. And they said, I want you to have a good hard look. This is the age your parents were when they had you. And so we're kind of looking and we're thinking, oh my God, they're just kids.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
That's like, that puts whole perspective on it.
I was 23 when I became a dad. Okay, I don't think I want a 23-year-old packing my groceries now. Okay, like you're talking about eggs before. Geez, I mean, you've got something as precious as a young life that's come home, a beautiful baby, and you've got to kind of treat them like an egg. You've got to be careful and be careful with them physically, but obviously emotionally too, right?
They're being formed all the way, like it is. But but it comes back to this, right? It comes back to, if you've got, this book isn't just for people who are woo-woo and spiritual, right? It is essential for this message to get out there to teachers, to educators on every level, to university professors, to mums and dads, to business owners, to leaders out there that can teach their people as well. Because I've seen, and I think I mentioned it in the book as well, I did last year I did some research on manifesting, and I wanted to see which leaders had what were the exact steps that these leaders had on manifesting. And I did like the spreadsheet, and there were 6 or 7 people on there, and not one of them had the foundations of awareness and intuition
interesting
with manifesting. And I was like, well, you're giving them all these steps, but how do I become aligned? How do I know what my limiting belief is? You cannot know those things without a sense of awareness. And people lack awareness. So essentially, this is the missing link in self and spiritual development.
Hold that up to the camera. Absolutely. Look, want people to know
people.
exactly what you're looking for. Now, where is this available?
So if you are a individual, you can go onto Amazon. You can grab it there. Spiritual AI, The Authentic Intelligence. If you are a library, or if you're a bookstore owner, you can go to Ingram Spark. It is available globally. So you should be able to pick it up. I have been emailing different stores. I know it's currently at Boffin's Books in Perth. They've got it online. And also Waterstones in the UK. They've put it on their website as well.
Great.
But yeah, for individuals, go grab it from Amazon.
I've just popped some links up here for you.
Yeah,
you can connect with Leonie. Here's her Facebook. YouTube and Spotify. So I'll leave that up there for a couple of minutes, but it should be in the links that we're sharing as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Look, something you brought up before about the fact that, this should be in universities and schools and that. I think that's a great point, and I will often make the jokes, but the content, the content that our children are now taking in, so much of it is so destructive. It's so destructive.
It's so outdated.
Well, yeah, but
Very outdated.
okay, wouldn't it be better to get people as they're in that age and that stage of their life, right, to actually turn inwards and actually work on themselves and get used to working on yourself at an early age? Because it wasn't like, for myself, I didn't start working on myself until I realized, oh, hang on, I'd smashed this thing up. I'd broken a lot of things. I'd caused a lot of damage. Then that's what woke me up to the fact that, it's time to actually turn the mirror around, okay, and actually do something about it.
Yeah. No, it is. It's definitely needed. Besides the schooling system being completely outdated, if we really want to see change in the world, we're going to have to start with bringing awareness and intuition back into our lives.
Can I just ask you, because you shared, I think it was on the first show that you came in, you had a big vision, and I remember your daughter talking to you about that. So I'd love to know, because you spoke about a great number of people that you're going to reach around the world. So I'd love you to reshare that and let us know if your vision's still the same. And also, we were talking before about it not being about you. So was this something that channeled through you? Do you feel like this is coming from somewhere else?
So, okay. So first of all, the mission that I have. So when I first started with this, my brain said, like, I need to reach 1 million people. And then had a chat with Chloe, and she was like, Mum, 1 million people is nothing. With social media and with what we have, right, the reach that we have now, 1 million people is a small audience. And then I was like, yeah, you're right. So 1 million is good. Let's go. And then when I started writing the book, it became very clear to me that it needs to be at least 5 million. Like my reach needs to be bigger. It needs to be going out there. So working with 5 million at the moment, that's where my energy is at, to get it to 5 million people. But essentially, I would like it to see a lot more, because it is so needed right now. And then on your other question, whether was about the message.
Yeah. So I for me myself and I, a big thing for me is that I became very aware that I was being utilized to bring to bring people together. I believe it's my God-given strength is to connect people. And I feel sometimes when I do things, I just channel. Like it's not even me. Like the ego, I don't consider I have a big ego. I'm sure I do, because I'm a human. But so I kind of feel like I'm being used for a greater good. And I'm just curious to know what your take is on that.
So it's funny, because I had this conversation with a friend the other day, and as we were talking about development and just some deep things, and I was like, you know what, I've always had this feeling inside me that I was born for greatness. That I was born for a bigger something. When I watch superhero videos, I have this sense of there's something in me that wants to like burst out, superhero. And when I started this writing journey, because I've been on this journey for a long time, helping clients, and I've had so many different iterations of me and trying to figure out what is this thing that I need to do, and do I need to do this course, and do I need to teach it in this way, and do I need to see clients, and and eventually everything is kind of squeezed. And then in February, when I canceled, I pulled all my courses because intuition said to me, Leonie, cancel the course. This was like 2 days before I was meant to launch it.
Oh dear.
I had 4 other experts on with me. And I called them, I messaged them, I said, guys, I can't. Everything in me says stop. I need to pull this. So I pulled it. I trusted, pulled it. And within a couple of days later, I got the message to write. And I started writing in March. And the book is here, right? So I believe that everything has happened has kind of squeezed me through a birth canal, essentially, to this point where this is now, here's my superhero.
I like that.
This is my soul expressed. I'm going to cry. oh my God. This
So you're
is,
very emotional around
this
here.
is my soul expression, right? So here is the message.
Look
Here
at the
is
passion in your eyes.
superpower.
That's what it's about, right? So important. I'm
Make me
so.
cry.
I know this sounds horrible and callous. I'm so glad you're crying because
because
it means so much. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to cut you short.
No, but that's it. So here is that the soul expression. So Lisa, you've got a something inside you as well. You've got that soul expression. And you can't actually get to your soul expression if you don't have a sense of awareness and you're not guided by the voice of your soul, which is your intuition.
Yeah. So believe in intuition. It is such an important part of who we are. We'll come to the end of the show. I just want to throw this out to everybody that if you like what you've seen, hey, do the like, subscribe, and do all of that, and share it with friends. Share the words. It's a very, very important thing. Have I just done something?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
You did.
What have I just done?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gift a copy of the book
That's
to
cool.
the radio station.
Thank you.
And then we're going to get you guys to run a competition. And we're going to get people to like the radio station.
Yep, definitely.
We're going to get you to share, and we're going to get you to comment underneath this video that you have liked and shared, and then you go into the draw to win the book.
Love the sound of that. There we
What
go.
a fantastic
Winner chicken dinner.
Yeah.
And we already gave away an amazing prize today. So I'll tell you what, I'm starting to feel like Oprah. What's under my seat here?
Just before we close off, just so that our co-host, because our co-host is still part of the show.
Absolutely.
Leon's just asked, do you have any books for sale here in Perth or only online? I think she might have missed that, or either that or I'm behind the 8 ball. If you just want to repeat that again, please.
Leanne, I don't have any copies at the moment, so I won't be carrying any stock with me right now, but you can go onto Amazon to go and grab a copy for yourself. It's available in like UK, US, everywhere, amazon.com.au, obviously.
Yep.
And then if you're a bookstore owner or a library, you can get it from Ingram's Park.
Okay, and sorry, I've cut you off again. Is there a second book coming out?
Actually, there is. I already started writing, but it's going to be part of my next journey. So it probably won't be out in the next year. I'm saying that. Who knows? I don't know what my soul journey is. But
and have we given you a name today for it?
No, not today.
Because remember, we want our cut.
I'm getting the book to see if our names are mentioned in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I want at least a chapter. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No, that is fantastic. And we're all jokes aside. It is fantastic to have conversations that inspire. This is whether it's the name of a book or, a direction to go for a book or, just a way to changing your life. It's great to be part of conversations that do such things. So,
thank you very much.
No, well, thank you.
Thank you,
It's very
Leonie.
inspirational.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And I will do it again, like, subscribe, do all those wonderful, fantastic things. You might win a book, which is another great
And
thing.
Aaron's going to be putting it up on the Edge Facebook page.
I am, Edge Radio Australia on Facebook.
And that will be up in the next hour.
Sure. Got nothing else to do. Why not? I'm only got a radio station running. It's okay. No,
This is why he loves me so much.
no pressure. Yeah. So if you don't subscribe, you don't do those kind of things, just, look in the mirror. Take a long, hard look at yourself. What's going on in your life, though? I really appreciate everything.
It helps, but it helps. So it doesn't just help the radio station. It also helps the message of every person that sits on this couch that comes and talks to you, because their soul expression is essentially why they're sitting on the couch with you,
sure.
right? So it is not just about getting more people and supporting you guys here at the radio station. It is actually about spreading the message.
Yeah, love it.
So support these people.
Love it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being part of the one thing here in
See you
Edge
next week.
Radio Australia.
Ever felt lost online finding the right businesses?
Absolutely, like a needle in a haystack.
Introducing the Worldwide Awake Business Directory.
Tell me more.
It's your hub for businesses sharing your values. Discover eco-friendly products, socially responsible services, and more.
Count me in. I'll check it out straight away.
Find businesses aligned with your values on the Worldwide Awake Business Directory. Start making a difference with every purchase.